us something about Nutanix, or before that, when you were in product, in limited resources, how can we make, if sitting in India, how can we make sure that our product is reaching to the customer, we are generating revenue, and at the right point, we are getting funded as well?
Yeah, if you just think about last 10 years alone, how
Yeah.
the technology landscape has changed. And I'm talking about not just going and building a product, but the distribution has changed dramatically.
Agreed.
Now we're talking about going and building the software, or building now that same software, distributing it through the cloud.
Right.
SaaS. Now we are talking about.
Yeah.
And it's a very good stage that we are right now, wherein all you require is a person with a laptop and internet connections. That's all.
Agreed.
And you can go and build any idea that you have a product, and you don't require any money, frankly speaking, at that point. We're talking about going and getting the free license for the GitHub. You just get it. You want to get some credits from the cloud players for you to even go and build a prototype and start distributing it. That's something that you can go and do it. So, I mean, world in that sense is now becoming more level playing field in terms of the software development and distribution. Because if you think about the US or even Europe, the biggest thing previously was the go-to-market.
Yes.
Because you have to be there. You have to meet with the customers now, because you are also talking about large spend for the customers. The software, it's not just one time. You have to continuously, they have to trust you and all that. Those things are going away with the place that we are here today. So just like right now, you look at US versus even look at India, 100+ unicorns coming out of India for the SaaS. I mean, we're in a very different time, very interesting time now. We're talking about more than 3,500 or so SaaS startups or SaaS companies out of India right now, something that we couldn't even imagine in the previous decade. Right now, the world is at playing field in the sense of the software or product building part that is there. Now, the second piece is that the go-to-market.
Yes.
And go-to-market, where the customers are, who have the buying power. And this is something that is still work in progress. Now we're talking about these customers, let's say in US, that they're willing to pay when you go and solve something concrete for them.
Yes.
And in India also, it will happen, but just that it's taking a little longer. And the reason for that is just when you go and improve the life of human, and or you reduce the amount of work or cognitive load on the human, in, let's say, in US or in Europe, you're directly saving a lot of cost for the customer. And they realize this, and they are going to attribute certain amount or certain cost to it. And they're willing to pay for the work that you have done. As opposed to that, still that we see in this part of the world where the cost still, people are not able to fully recognize, say that, okay, I can go and hire 1 or 2 more people. So what? For the same value that you're trying to bring in this market. So over time that will happen. So that's just the go-to-market stuff. Obviously, you see that the salary and overall economic status and all of that is going up. Many of the companies that are coming out of India is working at the global scale right now. It's happening. So that's what I see. And it has nothing, I would say, Nutanix, or I look at product building, most of the companies nowadays that you see, that they have from the development perspective, they will have something that is happening out of India, which is the talent that is there. It's the same talent that will be going to US or going to Europe, also doing the same work.
Right.
That happens. It's just the go-to-market difference.
Agree. And before go to market, Manoj, also the challenge which we are facing, like, the design partners. if I'm VMware, if I am SAP, if I am, maybe DevRev, I can get a many design partners ready to, to take my product and, guide us during the journey of this product thing. I'll just share my experience. When we were building Interview Cracker starting, it was a SaaS platform where we are doing a sales hiring with the help of speech AI and generative AI. The biggest challenge we faced is that, we did not find a design partner. And my product CPO, Shalini, she is also from IT Kanpur. She has come from IBM and Capgemini, where, they get the ready-made design partners done by company. Like, you build this product and on the fly, there is a few customers who will be giving you, immediate feedback. So coming now is startup background, we do not, in India, especially this big company or our customer do not trust us that we can build that and how much money we can save, as you rightly said, right? So how to solve that problem, where to find, how to build. So what we did was, for few months, we became a service company. I mean, that approach we took. We said, okay, let us use that product. You get output of this. Okay, and that way, initial few hundred customers, our beta version was also not out for the customer we were using because they did not trust. But when they started seeing the result, our previous company who started first month, they said, okay, now we see what your product can do. We are ready to give you platform fee, subscription fee, and all that, right? But it's not always easy to how to tackle that part, the build, because theoretically we do not want to build a product. We need a customer who is testing our product.
I mean, first of all, any new thing that you do, there is I call it the technology adoption curve. And this had been true forever. You're talking about innovators, early adopters. Before you talk about early majority, late majority, and laggards. And just turns out that 100 companies that you know, even personally that you know, it doesn't matter where you come from, which background that you come from, of the 100 companies that you know, only 2 to 3 companies, they're going to be the innovators there, who is going to do the design partnership with you and going to give you any meaningful feedback to you. These are not the companies that are going to come and pay you, by the way.
Yes.
And then we are talking about another 12 to 13 companies, that company is early adopters, and they are the ones who are also helping you build the MVPs. Right. So we are talking about only 16% of the market, or 16 companies out of 100 companies that you have any luck. And in fact, if you can identify those companies, then you have something at play. And this is available to every companies, by the way. It is nothing to do with like, okay, because people know you, it helps definitely. The sample size of 100 customers, any random set that you take, you'll only find 2 or 3 that who are willing to meaningfully give you that feedback. So I don't see that, at least everywhere that I see a lot of entrepreneurs, first time founders, that they're trying to do something, that statistics is no different. And it is no different even for DevRev. I mean, absolutely no difference.
So when is the right time to think about end to end and then design, or should I design and create the product and then go to the market? What do you suggest?
I mean, it's very simple like this. And you keep it simple, then first of all, the world will continue to run whether you go and build that or not. Human has this tendency, right? They will always figure it out, a way to do it.
Correct.
Like COVID came and went, we still survived. I mean, in the context of like food got delivered at our home. We were able to run the companies without not much, like we were able to hire people wherever they were. They were extremely productive. But we figured it out, I mean, during those times. And that's what happens. Like, it doesn't matter what you're building or not building. The world has a way to do it today. Why will they come and pay you? There's something that you have to think about it when you are going and building it. Are you making it easier for the human? Like anything that you're doing is going to cut down significant chunk of their time that they can go and focus their energy onto something else. And for that, will they be willing to go and pay or not? Are you displacing something that they are already using? So often, like especially for the bigger ticket item, if you have it, you have to think about what are you displacing? Where is the budget coming from? And because the budget is not something that is just created. And I'll also say one more thing. You can't go and sell something that's saying that, okay, if you use us, you're going to use less number of people. This is something that right away doesn't work. Over time, it will work.
Okay.
But at the initial part of your journey, like when you are going and taking the product to the market, they're always going to ask, what do you replace? Where does the budget come from? So to me, it's like idea is one thing, but then you have to figure out all those other things also quite early. And then the decisions that you make, what you build, what you don't build, how you build it, how you displace it, all of that also you'll have to take into account.
Nice. Share us your journey of DevRev. How did this idea came, and then when did you decide to do the product? Then last year you are in the market now. How did this journey of DevRev has gone for you?
Yeah. So a lot of these things, like what we are doing right now, comes from also just feeling the pain ourselves. So in 2020, we were doing around $1.6 billion in software revenue at Annex. Plus, we had 7,000 people. We were selling our product in 200 different countries.
Yeah, that was a time you could go to Himalayas or the world tour. Why another DevRev? Why another SaaS product to build? All of us are curious to know that why you and Dheeraj need to again go to the same churn of building another business. So curious.
First of all, we were never tired as like something building.
Yeah.
And for us, we just had fun building whatever that we did at Nutanix. So for us to first of all start something else also, it was not like, okay, start again, all over again. But the problem statement, the purpose and all that, once you align to that, then logically also you start thinking left brain side and right brain side. So for us, like for the $1.6 billion that we are bringing, we were spending $400 million just in the R&D product side. $100 million that we were spending in customer support, and close to $1 billion that we were spending in sales and marketing. It was a pure sales-led play that we have. The company is today is doing close to $2 billion or so. So continue to really grow at very good, healthy pace still. And it's not that suddenly their realization came in 2020 that we should go on DevRev. But the idea was at every stage of the company. I'm talking about 2,200 developers, 9 different sites around the world that you have. Every quarter that you go and start to figure out how much of the work that I'm doing is going towards actual business outcome. It's a question that every product leaders, they struggle to answer. And we do QBR, we bring the information in the Excel spreadsheet, we start to tag things, try to figure out how much of work that I'm doing for the existing customers, how much of the work that I'm doing it for the future business, how much of the work that I'm just doing tech debt reduction, maintenance work, and all of that you're just trying to determine that. And it's very, very manual process today in the companies. And for us, for me, like I was first trying to solve it for Nutanix itself. So there are 2 companies that I gave away $100,000 each. These were the startups, and this was just it was not even the cost of the product. It was just an RE amount to really build a POC to automate the process that we were just trying to do every quarter during the quarterly business review. A year of work that we did with these 2 startups, but nothing concrete came out of it.
I see.
And this is where that became very, very clear that the problem statement is pretty big that we are talking about. It's not an easy problem that we are trying to solve.
Right.
And you close your eyes and you start to think what matters to the companies. Why do companies exist? And you zero it down to 2 things, which is product and customers. Those are the only 2 things matter. If you don't have product or you don't have customers, there is no company. I mean, period. And then
services company can exist, right?
Sorry?
Service company can exist in that case, right?
Even there, product, I mean, you can overload it with the services also, but you need customers.
Agree.
So you offer product, which is product or services, and then you have customers.
Yeah.
Right. and you don't have, in the absence of either, you don't have a company. And then people inside the company, they do work for what? They work for product and they work for customers. It is as simple as that. And then you start to look at the work itself, that they are distributed into so many different tools and systems today, because of which that it is very, very hard to look at product down and customers down. How much of the work that is happening for the product, how much of the work that is happening for the customers. And on the product side, how much, which are the customers that are using this different part of the product that you are providing. And at the customer's level, which all product that they are using, and so on. So all that correlations, just going and building today it is in so many different systems and tools. And for us, the question was, could we really go and solve for something like that? Wherein just like convergence that has happened with the cloud, before the cloud, before AWS, you had to buy all these different systems, different admins, had to go and really build that together. AWS came and say, okay, I'm going to just make it easy for you. I'll just give the APIs and you'll be able to go and build your application on top of it. Same thing happened with iPhone. I mean, so many gadgets that we were carrying before got converged. And is the journey that we are taking with DevRev. There are two words there, Dev and Rev. Dev is for development, which is proxy for product, and Rev is for revenue, which is proxy for customers.
How do we as a founder take that my MVP is ready to go to the market?
I actually talk about two different aspects, especially in the context of building the company. A lot of people focus on the MVP, and MVP is like just the feature set, what your innovators and early adopters are willing to live with. If you brought that forward to them. But I also talk about the MVP architecture. A lot of founders, they don't focus enough on the MVP architecture. And this is the remaining 84% of the market that I'm talking about. And typically that it doesn't require a lot of extra effort if you start to focus also on the MVP architecture. So that like once you get through, let's say the first set of customers from the innovators and early adopters category, and you truly want to have the expanded go-to-market at that point, are you actually ready to go to that part of the market or not? And a lot of companies basically get into this mode where they will come to certain ARR, and then from there they stop growing. And they don't realize that what happened there. Suddenly their tech stack, whatever that they had built, they never thought about beyond the MVP. So you have to think about both MVP. MVP, people will help you design that.
Correct.
With the innovators and early adopters who are coming in. But it's the MVP architecture where the true entrepreneurship that comes into play, that you're able to make some tough calls from very early on, willing to go and spend that extra 20% or whatever that takes. So do something that will help you significantly later on.
So Manoj, this is something new concept we are hearing about MVP architecture. Can you just please briefly explain what all things we need to take care when we are doing MVP architecture? Because MVP means product features that is there in our mind. What is MVP architecture?
So think of like if my plan says that I'm going to go and reach out to this 84% of the market, and they are bigger customers, they will require, let's say, not just me being able to go and log in, authenticate my app, but also authorization. Can I really have that? Have I, like, as I am building this stack, did I really take into account the cost aspect? And some of the tough decisions that you'll have to go and take. Am I going to provide this as a freemium to a lot of customers out there? Will my bank at that point will be completely depleted when I start providing this? Do I have a budget? Do I say that, okay, for the entire org, if I give 10 people the full access, what is my budget? Is it $5 per year? Is it $20 per year? Is it $100 per year? Do I take that consideration into account when I go and build this? Did I take into account the multi-tenancy? Did I take into account, I mean, there are so many factors that are at play. Are you thinking through it all or not? Security, a lot of time that people, it is an afterthought because it's not part of the MVP. It's just feature, right? And often that you see that the people, the flunk in those. And for every company, it will be different. But it's important to also not really lose sight on the MVP that you implement everything right away. But if it is part of the architecture that you know that I haven't taken shortcuts, I will go and implement that later, but the provisions are kept.
But plan is there. Plan. We have already thought it through.
Yeah. Right? And we talk about it like if like a framework, people will have now, next, later. There are things that you're doing now, which like your team is working on. Correct. But then next is where the entrepreneurs, the founders, they are paying more and more attention, next and later. But they know what is next to be done. That's where the founders, they are spending time, not on the now. Very, very solid point. Good one. I mean, generally we miss that, no doubt. Right. So now the next question, as you rightly said, that innovator and early adopter will come, right? So 0 to 1 till the MVP level, we are able to, see some revenue, some ARR started coming in. Now, how to take any businesses from 1 to N? Yeah. And you have done that. You have done that. So you are the right person to answer. I know this is not directly related to this topic, but since your experience is there, you have taken Nutanix to IPO, and not only IPO, the revenue-wise, it's a so solid businesses you guys have built there. Would like to know, MVP ho gaya, ARR pahunch gaya, aage kya? How to take it forward? How to scale? I'll say maybe answer in a different. I'll answer it in a very different way. Please. When you tie or whatever that you build, at the end of the day, it actually ties to the solving some real human related stuff. So I'll say that, for example, at Nutanix, while on one side that we are building this technology that has to be sold and so on, the persona that we are going after, and we're looking at like, what is the pain point? And the pain point that you suddenly realize we were selling it to the IT. These are the people who are sitting in the data center. And what you find when you talk to them is, and we all know this, that these people, they don't celebrate Christmas at home. Because what happens is, during the Christmas time, there is downtime, while all the employees, they are going and celebrating Christmas with their family, they are in the data center. They're doing the patching, upgrades, system maintenance work that you probably heard about it, right? All the maintenance work happens during those times. Right. So then the question is that you start to question, which is, what if they could also go and celebrate Christmas with their family? And what do you have to do that? So that simply means all the work that they're doing during that shutdown or maintenance window, if they were able to do while we were also working without any downtime, any application performance issue and all of that, if you could do that, then I know that they're going to go and spend time with their family during the Christmas. Yeah. Such a simple thing, but everything then you go and do in the company ties to that purpose. So, and then suddenly what you see, these people become the biggest promoter of your product. Because now that what they see is, I don't want anything else other than this thing. Yeah. It helps me. It helps. I can go and spend more time with my family when I work. So, and something similar, I mean, what we are doing at DevRev also is like, we are trying to give, first of all, humans, they want to work on things that matters. They don't want to go and spend time on things that doesn't matter. Agree. Right. And, but the reality is that the people have no idea with the information that is so dispersed into so many different systems today. The information symmetry is not there for you to even know that the work that you're doing is going towards the real impact to the business or not. Everybody wants to bring that impact, help the company, help the customers and so on. But that information is just all over the place today. And a lot of meetings that happens inside the companies. A lot of information also, because of the information asymmetry, that's the only way you can get the information, how you do the prioritization, how you do the planning, how do you do the work and so on. And you go and do the work, you finish the work, and after that you have no idea who is using it, how much revenue is it bringing, and so on, right? It's just not there. So we are building something that wherein it helps every person who is working on it to truly see the impact of the work that they have done.
Wonderful.
We feel that that's one thing. And the second thing, that in the process of doing that, can they do their work also faster? We talk about autonomy, mastery, purpose, all of that. Can you truly bring that to every human who is working inside the company? So first of all, I know that I'm answering it very differently, one to N, but one to N happens when you have promoters coming from your customers, because they don't want to not use it. Many of these people who are working in the innovators and early adopters companies, they also go to those other companies and they will go and talk about it all the time. So that's like one of the ways. Now, obviously, the product is so good, and you can just go and put more people on the ground. They can start selling it. The information will just go there. There's so many different ways. I mean, playbook that people will talk about for the one to end.
Yeah.
And but I'm just giving this answer is very different. I'm sure that you didn't expect it.
No, but I'm just thinking it through. This is the core of any business, right? To build a customer-centric approach, not only in building the product, but in terms of, as you rightly said, that transparency. They should know what, entire team should know what they are doing and how it is impacting the customers, right? All those things are, and as product will sell after that. Of course, it does not mean that we have to sit hand to hand, putting hand to hand and wait for that. We have to put the sales team, as you rightly said, and all those things. But that was very deep, Manoj. I mean, when I started thinking it through, where is my process? Where is my, customer-centric approach in my company? So really, it's not a one-day task to be fixed, and but yeah, it's a constant approach.
Yeah, it becomes culture. You won't find any company who says that, okay, we are not customer-centric.
They will not say, but there are many companies who are not. Right? But all the solid companies, the stable foundation companies, we see that they are customer-centric, right? So they
The
do
way to test that, Antma, is something called Net Promoter Score, NPS.
Yeah.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, a question is asked to the customer: will you actively promote my product to a colleague or a friend? Simple question.
Correct.
And the answer varies, like it's 1 to 10 scale that somebody has to answer. And typically, you get a score of 8.
Yeah.
You feel that I'm already 80% of the way. Not on the Net Promoter scale. It's like scale like 7 and 8 is considered neutral score. All it means is that this customer is not going to actively talk about your product. If somebody comes and asks, they will be like, okay, yeah, you can use it.
Yeah.
Right? That's the way that it will do.
Correct.
It's only 9 and 10 is considered +1.
Yeah.
And anything below 7 is considered negative score. They are detractors.
Okay.
So that's negative score. Now, in this scale that you can see, the number varies from -100 to +100 on the percentage scale. And most companies, they will try to get to, let's say, neutral score or positive score.
Yeah.
Because you are already 70-80% of the way, you would think. Now, best of the best brand, when you look at even Apple, and they have done, like, every time a new feature comes, how we go and show it off to other people. That's like actively promoting their brand and the product. And they are at +72 score.
Oh, I see. Oh.
So Apple. But Nutanix, despite at the speed that we are growing every year, our Net Promoter Score stayed consistently above +90.
Wow.
That's
That's
yeah. So this is no small feat. I mean, that's what extreme customer obsession.
Yeah. Fantastic. Very good. So now I see that, we have less time now. What I'll request, Manoj, you to tell us few of the pitfalls which may occur during building MVP, while we are building, while we are at bootstrapped and while we are, because we have less resources. So what are the pitfalls? What are the things which we can avoid so that, at least the stable foundation is built?
Yeah. First of all, like when we talk about the bootstrapping or we talk about the resourcing and all that, the good news is
that you are going to fund all the viewers here, all the startup.
I mean, there is just incredible amount of talent that is available out of the school that who are willing to come and do the internship with you and build something with you. Like in the context of DevRev also, We have given internship to close to 200 or so people already.
Oh.
So we have built quite a bit.
Request Manoj you to tell us few of the pitfalls which may occur during building MVP, while we are building, while we are at bootstrapped and while we are, because we have a less resources. So what are the pitfalls? What are the things which we can avoid so that, at least the stable foundation is built?
Yeah. First of all, like when we talk about the bootstrapping or we talk about the resourcing and all that, the good news is
that you are going to fund all the viewers here, all the startup.
I mean, there is just incredible amount of talent that is available out of the school that who are willing to come and do the internship with you and build something with you. Like in the context of DevRev also, we have given internship to close to 200 or so people already. So we have built quite a bit. I mean, with the people coming out of college and building with us. So something that is available to the people. Now, in terms of the pitfalls and all, I mean, just long-term greed is very important, in my opinion. When people go and build it, they're not taking too much shortcuts. And by which I mean that obviously you can go and do the prototype, you should do it. And you should do it more often and go and test it with the, let's say, the persona that you're going after. You should definitely go and test that all the time. But then conviction with which that you started and you want to do something, go and retest that conviction and don't dither from that path, in my opinion. Because a lot of people will come and say that maybe what you are thinking or what you are planning to do or what you should give me right now and change your path completely. And with the conviction that what you started out the company with itself. And if you truly believe in it, then you'll have to follow through for a little bit longer term. And MVP to me is also a constantly building, because as you go from each of these phases of the journey, for the customer, the type of customers that you're going after, the MVP is continuing to build. In fact, 1 to N that you spoke about, it's not that something, everything that you have built it all up front. Just have different challenges. Let's say you go to Europe, now you need GDPR. If you're going to Japan, now you need the localization. And the MVPs just keep shifting. So it's just the different MVPs at every scale. But there are resources available now. I mean, that's what I see compared to, let's say, 10 years ago.
Agree, totally agree. And this is a beautiful concept that MVP is always in progress. It's never done. That today MVP is done and we see that now we have to build a full-fledged product. But for that part of the product features, that is MVP itself again, right? So the good
same goes for PMF, product market fit. I mean, just comes down to like every time that you are going and entering the different stage of the company, PMF is never done.
Correct. And product market fit is all the time keeps happening, right? Because the market changes. Now generative AI is there. Now this thing is there. When as soon as you change the product, you incorporating the latest technology, again your PMF has to start from the scratch, right? So
the big disruption is happening right now with the GenAI. I mean, it doesn't matter what you did before.
No,
the new shift is happening. I mean, if you don't go and incorporate that,
you left behind.
Both for your product as well as for your own company also. If you don't go and modernize your company, you're going to
follow. Question is, Manoj, there for you. What are some common challenges faced by entrepreneurs and startup when bootstrapping their ventures? You have slightly, touched upon this that, even a bootstrapping and all, we have a lots of opportunity to take care right now available. But still, if you want to add some points here.
I mean, it's the same. My answer will not change. Always just think about both the product and customer. Those are the two things that matters. And you can't just take side on one or the other. You have to think about both.
That one question which is close to my heart also, when we are bootstrapping, we have a certain constraints, how the creativity and innovation play at the work.
and it also just comes down to the resources that what we are talking about. We have plenty of resources available. Can you really go and hustle to really reach out to those resources? I'm yet to find somebody. In fact, even Steve Jobs spoke about, you can reach out to people and people are willing to help. They're always willing to help. So you, as an entrepreneur, you just need to reach out. And then same goes for community. Community is also willing to help. Reach that out and reach out to the students in the college. Now you see the easier, like all these enterprise or entrepreneurship cells and all that exist inside the campuses also. You can reach out there also. The people are willing to come and help and work.
And one question is there, when my MVP is ready, it has gained traction, how do we reach out to funding, and is this the right time to go for a funding when we have a few traction?
I mean, obviously it helps. Sooner you can start to at least socialize your idea with the prospective VCs or angel, better it is. You don't wait for until like you have the customers. Like if you're bootstrapping and you can go and build a business that doesn't require any funding, power to you.
Another question is there, are there any tools or methodologies that you recommend for entrepreneurs looking to bootstrap and develop their MVPs?
Use DevRev.
I'm sure you must be having a startup plan as well.
We do, yeah. In fact, if you haven't raised $1 million, or you are less than 50 employees in the company, you can use it for free.
Oh wow, that's good. That's good to take away from this session. Right. What are some potential pitfalls that we touched? Can you elaborate on the role of customer feedback and iterations in the MVP development process, and how many times should we take these iterations of customer feedback?
I mean, you're talking about a few design partners at that point. And you are taking feedback as often as possible and really getting down to if they are willing to pay. If they are willing to pay, then you know that you have an MVP. Most of the time when they have to pay something, where the real question or real answer will come. So somehow you have to figure out that they are willing to pay.
Okay. The last question is that could you share some practical tips for identifying and prioritizing features when creating an MVP?
Again, comes down to the same thing. Do you really have the right design partners? Are they willing to give you all the feedback? Are you able to go and incorporate those feedbacks before you go or reach out to more customers at that point? Obviously, at scale, there are a lot of solutions that exist. Like DevRev, at DevRev, we do this, like all the customer feedback that comes in, that how product managers, they are able to cluster, classify, able to really put together a plan and then go and do the execution on the engineering side. And that feedback also goes back all the way to the customers that, okay, collaborating with the customers that this is the way that we are solving, what do you think, and so on. And when it gets delivered also, that you personalize it to the customers also. And that okay, yeah, this is something that we took the feedback and we got it done for you. So I'm sure that there are a lot of other automations people can go and do, but there is no one system today that exists which can go and solve this end to end.
I would like to wrap this up officially. So first of all, the first thing I observed is Anupma's exceptional ability to sustain the energy and the momentum of our discussion. It has been truly remarkable, Anupma. And I would also like to extend my deepest appreciation to Manoj, whose profound insights and the wealth of experience and wisdom have, I believe, not only enriched our understanding, but also ignited a spark of inspiration within all of us.
Correct.
And lastly, to our wonderful audience, your engagement and curiosity have undeniably been the cornerstone of this event's success. So as we draw the curtains on this event, it's important to remember that the quest for knowledge never ends and knows no zero bounds. So we eagerly anticipate our next episode of Zest Talks, where we will embark on yet another journey to explore some uncharted territories of ideas and insights.